take my brother's life and the life of 22 others, while also injuring many and traumatizing an entire community. Let me be clear, racism isn't a mental illness.
That was just a glimpse of what victims had to say to the El Paso Walmart shooter. These emotional statements stemming from the shooting that killed 23 people and injured 22 others nearly 6 years ago on August 3rd, 2019. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us here at ABC-7 at 6. I'm Marcel Clark.
And I'm Paul Sikala, and we're continuing our team coverage of day 2 of impact statements from victims and family members. We're profiling what some people had to say to shooter Patrick Crusius as he'll be locked away in prison for the rest of his life.
Yeah, and right now you're about to get a closer look at video of Crusius being escorted out of the courtroom by El Paso County Sheriff Oscar Ugarte. Judge Sam Medrano only allowed journalists to record the end. This after survivors and victims' families gave their impact statements, which wrapped up this afternoon. As we reported, Crusius pled guilty after the district attorney James Montoya announced he was not going to seek the death penalty. Crusius was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Present in court today, more than 20 survivors and victims' family members. Crusius, of course, Judge Sam Medrano, and the DA's office as well.
Yeah, and ABC-7's Heriberto Perez spent the day inside of that courtroom when all of that was taking place. He joins us live from the courthouse with the details.
Good evening, Paul, Marcel. The impact statements ended before 4 this afternoon. And at the end of the impact statements, District Judge Sam Medrano asked El Paso County Sheriff Oscar Ugarte to escort Patrick Crusius out of the courtroom. Take a listen.
Sheriff, please make arrangements to get into the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Paul, Marcel, this happened after Judge Medrano asked DA Montoya if all the families gave the statements they signed up to do after Crusius' plea hearing yesterday. And today, 2 out of the 25 surviving victims and victims' family members showed Crusius forgiveness and asked Judge Medrano if they could hug him. The judge allowed them, and this was the moment Adriana Sandri hugged Crusius towards the end of the impact statements. She's the widow of Ivan Filiberto Manzano, saying she asked for this moment for her and her children.
Your Honor, I would like to ask you for permission on behalf of me and my children to give Patrick a hug.
Ma'am, would that help you and your family seek comfort, peace, and healing?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And Paul, Marcel, Patrick Crusius again pleaded guilty on Monday to capital murder charges for an aggravated assault for killing 23 people and wounding 22 others on August 3rd, 2019. Reporting live outside the El Paso County Courthouse, Heriberto Perez, ABC-7.
Thank you, Heriberto. Among those who gave their statements this afternoon was the family of the youngest victim of that August 3rd shooting. Javier Amir Rodriguez was just 15 years old when Crusius shot and killed him.
And ABC-7's very own Paul Schultz joins us to explain how his family is working to keep his legacy alive.
Well, Marcel, Paul, Javier's sister told us earlier today that she doesn't think the family will ever be able to fully heal, but Javier's death did bring them closer together. Now, Javier had just started his sophomore year in high school when he was killed in the shooting, and 2 days after the shooting, the Clint Independent School District hosted a vigil in his honor at Horizon High School. Javier's family said his dream was to play professional soccer or be part of Border Patrol. They said he loved playing video games and hanging out with his friends, and that his family was very important to him.
We've all had our own different relationships with him, so I feel like everyone is going about it their own way. You know, that grief is never going to fully heal. You know, it can get better within time, obviously, and coming to terms with it. But I feel like as for grief, we will never get over everything that happens. And as the years go by, you know, we're still going to relive the same moment when August 3rd comes, when his birthday comes, you know, when any special occasion comes, we're going to have to relive all the pain all over again.
And the family said they have felt so much love and support from the El Paso community. On another note, we mentioned that Javier had dreams of joining the Border Patrol, and his family told us today that when the Border Patrol heard of his death, they sent the family a plaque in his honor. Reporting live from the El Paso County Courthouse, Paul Schultz, ABC-7.
Thank you, Paul. The statements this morning included a shocking moment where a victim actually hugged Crusius after she was done speaking, as we reported earlier. Multiple instances of that.
Yeah, ABC-7's Rishi Oza joins us with more on how this Tinajero family chose forgiveness for the shooter. Rishi?
Yeah, Paul, Marcel, Arturo Benavides was one of the 23 people who was killed during the August 3rd mass shooting. His sister Yolanda Tinajero gave her impact statement this morning, and she was one of those two people who was allowed to hug Patrick Crusius afterwards.
God help me to suppress this anger with forgiveness. I feel in my heart to hug you very tight so you could feel my forgiveness, especially my loss.
Yolanda's daughter Melissa gave her impact statement after the hug, saying she was lucky to have her uncle Arturo in her life. She said he was kind and generous, loved to be with his family, and he never missed a party. Melissa said she was conflicted today, as it's not like her to hate a stranger, and she expressed those emotions to Crusius.
I feel sorry for you, but I'm still angry. I hope that after today, I can release that and that you will fade away into obscurity. My personal feeling is that if there was ever a case that merited death, this is it. However, out of respect for my aunt and the many other families affected by your actions who want to see this heartache come to an end now, I surrender my personal desires.
Well, it's been a heavy last 48 hours for this community. If you or someone you know needs someone to talk to, you can call the crisis hotline at 988. Reporting live from outside the El Paso County Courthouse, Rishi Oza, ABC-7.
Thank you for that live report, Rishi.